right, let's get this started. Hi there, I'm First Warn 5 Meteorologist Mike Nicco. Hope you're having a great Monday evening. We are dry for now, cloudy, no doubt, sprinkle possible, maybe a little drizzle, but the big story is what's coming in tomorrow, our only chance for wet weather. Thankfully, it doesn't have any severe weather side effects, but timing could be better. Anything would be better than the morning commute. So let's jump right into this and see what's going on. We'll start with the first warn, specifically what are we looking at for Tuesday and when? It's a first warn for scattered showers and rumbles of thunder. Not expecting anything severe. The concern is the timing. Tuesday morning to early afternoon. That means your morning commute, it could be dicey out there with rain falling, and if you try to head out at lunch, still may need the wet weather gear. Showers will be a lot less potent by then, but they'll still be around and it could still be causing some slippery conditions. So let's take a look at exactly what we're thinking about is going to happen. First, we'll take a look at the past hour or so. You can see nothing on the radar. There's some moisture in those clouds, but for the most part, they're holding on to it. They're not letting go of that wet weather by any stretch of the imagination. So let's move on and talk about what's going to happen next. And that means for the next couple of hours, we'll call it the evening patio planning, but we're going to go into the early overnight hours. This is really for those of you that have to head out later on. Maybe you're working third shift. Maybe you're coming home after a second shift. You can see temperature is very comfortable, falling from 71 at 9 o'clock to about 65 at 1 o'clock. Now that's our first sign. Now some wet weather is going to pop up. Now it's only a 20% chance. Yeah, that's nothing big. More likely not, it's going to remain dry. But what we're looking at is a storm that's up pretty close to Valentine, Nebraska, well north of North Platte, just crossing over from South Dakota. And it's got about 320 miles until it gets here into Kansas City. So we've got a long time to watch this. And we're going to sleep through most of its travel time to get here. We'll go to bed tonight cloudy, kind of cool. Wake up tomorrow with rapidly increasing chances for wet weather. We're at 20% up until about, say 4 o'clock. Then we're at 30% at 5 and 6 o'clock. So if you're one of those early risers, you'll start to notice the changes come in. But then it really starts to, I wouldn't say pound us, that's a little bit too much, but when it really starts to affect us or impact us, it's going to be 7 o'clock. And that 7 o'clock goes all the way, get myself off the screen there, till 1 o'clock. So we're looking at about 6 hours of impactful showers that eventually will taper along with the chance as we head deeper into the forecast. And of course, I'm going to show you that right now, where I expect it to be and where I expect it to go. 5 o'clock in the morning, you can see that line of broken storms has made its way all the way from northern Nebraska. Knocking on our door right there, you can see northwest Missouri, eastern Kansas. Notice there's some red in there. That's the possibility of locally heavy rain, maybe even a little bit of lightning. You hear a clap of thunder, don't be surprised. Not expecting anything severe, not expecting anything flooding. Let's just put that out there right now. There is a small possibility you could have some standing water, maybe, if these storms come through and hit you a little harder than everyone else. So the morning commute, that's really the focus first. Widespread all the way from the Iowa border down 35 to Ottawa. And you can see even all the way over east to possibly Interstate 49 in Missouri. That's where we're going to see the greatest impacts. That's where we're going to have the most challenging commute and getting the kids ready to go to school with their wet weather gear and temperatures right around 60 degrees. What happens after 9 o'clock? Watch as the system continues to shrink down to the south. We're already starting to see some clearing up around Maryville. The last back edge of any light rain to sprinkles around St. Joe and Chillicothe, even Kansas City starting to really break free of the storms, as you can see a little yellow around Olathe and over towards southern OP, Stillwell, that area, and then a better chance around Ottawa, Paola, Lacine, Garnett, and heading over towards Butler. As we head through the afternoon hours, a couple of things to watch. I'll just tell you before they happen. Clearing is going to continue southward from the Iowa border. Storms are going to continue marching to the south and weaken. In fact, they'll be almost completely gone from most neighborhoods by the time we head to the evening commute. There may be a sprinkle left around Butler and Clinton, but if you look around Interstate 70 northward, that's a lot of sunshine. So we have to dress for 60s in the morning to stay warm, dress for the wet weather to stay dry, but then you also have to bring the sunglasses and ditch the coat in the afternoon because temperatures will warm into the upper 70s to about 80 degrees. So here we go into the evening hours. Pretty quiet out there. That's it. That was our best chance for rain. That was our best chance to temporarily halt the drought that is taking over. Right now, it's a moderate drought for southern Leavenworth. I think around Tonganoxie, over towards maybe Bonner Springs, and into Wyandotte County. The rest of us are abnormally dry. So I wanted to show you the potential rainfall, but I'm going to go hour by hour because this will show you where the wetness will actually be on the streets and at what time. So at 5 o'clock, looks like most of the streets are dry. Most of the roads are dry. The interstates are dry. But as we roam through the morning commute, you can see it just spreading that canopy of wet weather to the I-35 corridor, even down to the I-49 corridor around Butler. So the longer you wait to get out the door tomorrow, the more likely you're going to run into rain. And, you know, everybody's going to slow down as they should, so it may take you a little bit longer to get to work or get the kids off to daycare or school or wherever they need to go. And then as we head into the afternoon hours, south of 70, you saw a few more blips of wet weather around Paola, Ottawa, and Harrisonville. And then that's just about it. We'll go through the rest of the afternoon. You can see almost nothing really shows up. So we've got a changeable forecast for sure tomorrow as we transition from that rain back to seasonally warm temperatures. Our average high is about 82 this time of the year. We're going to pop up to about 80 by 4 o'clock. So that's how quickly things will warm once the sun starts to break free of the clouds. Until then, you can see it color-coded red, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, the last hour of the first warn, the last hour of the real impactful wet weather, especially here in Kansas City and the surrounding metro. Hey, I've got some good news. Not only is there some much needed rain, but I mean, there's people sneezing in the newsroom. I heard them complaining just a few minutes ago about the ragweed. I'm with you there, Ronnie. I understand it. It bothers me a little bit also. Tomorrow's a good day for that. Water's going to wash it out, the rain's going to wash it out, but it's going to come back Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as our growing season is going to continue thanks to those temperatures that are going to ramp up into the upper 80s and low 90s. In fact, here's a look at that 80 for Tuesday. Tomorrow, that's our mildest, most comfortable temperature moving forward. 86 isn't going to be bad Wednesday because any humidity around, and there may be some patchy fog in the morning, will be from the rain we received Tuesday morning. So not really looking at it being all that humid Wednesday, except for where we had some rain. Thursday, we start to get a southwesterly wind. You can see it tapping into some warmer weather to our south. And then second summer really kicks in. Look at those 90s. Some models are pushing 93, 94 Friday and Saturday. We're being not quite buying into that yet. A couple of reasons. The humidity could be too high. The more humidity that's in the air, the easier it is for it to absorb energy before it turns into heat. So there's that. Plus the winds are going to be pretty fast. They'll be out of the south-southwest about 10 to 20 miles per hour. And that doesn't allow all the heat to build up down near the ground. So there's a couple of factors we're looking at. I mean, we're in the ballpark. I mean, low to mid 90s, especially when you factor in the feels like temperatures. They're going to be in the mid to 90s during that time. Yeah, we have to talk about the feels like temperature. So is this unusual? No, and you know that. The average date of our last 90-degree afternoon is next Tuesday. So, you know, we've got a ways to go. The earliest, this one really shocked me. The earliest last 90-degree day we had in 1915 was July. That is kind of crazy. And the latest is October 30th, right before Halloween. All right. Now, I've got your 7-day forecast, but I'm going to pull out some individual days within this forecast. So I'm going to take my mug off here, and we'll start with Tuesday. Front-loaded the 7-day forecast, Security Bank 7-day forecast, with the most impactful weather, but also the most beneficial weather due to the rain. So what do we do for the commute and the kids? We dress them to stay dry and 61. So, you know, a light rain jacket, not a bad idea. But as we head into the afternoon hours, be sure they bring it home. That's kind of the reoccurring theme that we have, this time of the year, where they have to wear a jacket or a hoodie in the morning, and then you have to make sure they bring it home in the afternoon and not overwhelm the lost and found at school or at daycare. All right, so that is Tuesday. Wednesday, 62 to 86. Probably going to need the air conditioner in the afternoon, especially the farther south you are, because it'll be a little bit warmer. Now, starting Wednesday with that 86, we're going to see those feels like temperatures in the shade. Remember those? Near 90. We'll definitely be in the low to mid 90s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, those of you that still have pools open, how about that? Good call, because it's going to be great pool weather for those that don't work the traditional Monday through Friday or can head out there after work. Oh, that is all for you. Friday's our first 90-degree day. Average high on September 12th is 81 degrees. Last time we hit the 90s, just a couple weeks ago, August 20th, it was 91 degrees. So again, we've had a real nice string, pretty prolonged string of very comfortable weather that we're paying for now, if you want to think of it that way. We just postponed it. Saturday, going to be a hot one at CPKC Stadium. Going to be about 90 for that 6:30 kickoff as the Current take on Washington. Ought to be fun, though. With the sun angle getting quite low at 6:30, if you're sitting in the sun, it's not going to feel that bad. And plus, it's not going to last that long, because by the time we get to Saturday, the sun's setting around 7:30. So it's going to be pretty low in the sky. Sunday, it looks like, some of us will break out of the 90s into the upper 80s, but there'll still be plenty of 90s around. And then Monday, we're still looking at 88 degrees. And I saved Monday. Let's see, Sunday's the 14th. How can I forget that? It's my birthday. Monday's the 15th. But look what happens the 16th through the 22nd, all next week. Warmer than average. Of course, our average temperature drops due to our longer nights and shorter days from 80 to 77. But we're still looking at an extended period of warm weather, an extended period of, the growing season, I say. And why I'm thinking of that is because, if you want to get out there and see what's left of the sunflowers, might want to do it this weekend. Also, I was in Lewisburg over the weekend. They are picking apples like crazy and making cider and hard cider and apple cinnamon donuts. That was a great trip Sunday morning. If you get a chance to go out to any of our apple orchards, that's always a fun time and always a great bonding and family adventure. So that is a look at your Security Bank 7-day forecast. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and join us at 10 o'clock on the television. Some new data is coming in right now. We'll see if we tweak this forecast a little bit by then. So have a good evening.